Welcome back to Couple Two Tree, the Seller's Edition. So episode 2, let's get right into it. Let's talk about pricing your house properly. So to drink, I'm sorry, I poured it already. I meant to do it on camera, but I'm so flustered at not pricing my houses correctly that I poured it. Macallan 12, favorite scotch. I love Macallan, have the big bottle. And I drank the whole thing because we can't price our houses properly anymore, and it's driving me nuts. Having a lot of difficulty. So, cheers, let's get started. So, pricing your house correctly. Who determines the price of your house? Not me, not you, not your neighbor, right? Because it's always, my neighbor sold the house for $780,000 6 months ago. And really? Which that? They sold it, a year and a half ago for $650. Where'd you get that? There's usually, when it comes to my neighbor did this, my cousin did that, it's 9 out of 10 times, at least in my experience, it's incorrect, it's inflated. It's always a wrong, crazy number that makes you feel like you're, under lowballing yourself, but in reality, it's wrong information. And, Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So who's the market, right? Because the market is the one determining your price. Who is the market? The market is, or what is the market? It is comparable houses to yours that sold within the last 6 months. Okay, so that's showing what people actually paid for and what they see the value in, right? Because they sold, they're like yours, same size, same type for the most part. And, it's within the last 6 months. It's not 2 years ago. The real estate market is cyclical, so you really got to keep it as up to date and current as possible. So, how do we figure that out? I do a CMA, a comparative market analysis, a value report, whatever you want to call it, and we'll pick a bunch of houses, right? We'll see the houses as close to yours as possible, same type. So whether we're, if you're a single family detached or a 2-family semi-attached, whatever it is, we're going to go off of that, and we're going to, pick from this pool of houses that we have and see what most closely matches yours. Of course, there's going to be fluctuations, right? We live in New York City, so every house is a little different for the most part. Maybe this one it's a little bit bigger. This one doesn't have a finished basement, and you do. This one has an extra bedroom. You have a pool. This one doesn't. So we're picking all of these houses to paint the broad picture and get a range, and then we see where your house fits into that range. And then from there, we can, determine the value. And look, this pretty much, according to the cold hard facts of numbers, this is what people are willing to pay for a similar property to yours. So where does yours fit? Maybe, all right, you have an in-ground pool, you have a granite kitchen, you're on the top end of that range. So if the range is showing us, $650,000 to $700,000, and you have all that, okay, you're going to be closer to the 7, right? As opposed to the $650, maybe if you needed some updating or whatever. So that's how we come up with where your house sits and, how it should be priced. Now, you do a huge disservice to yourself when we do this, and the cold hard facts are showing, again, let's say, all right, we should list your house between $650,000 and $7. Yours is on the nicer end. Let's $699, $689, $709. That's a good area, right? I think. Okay, all right, Joe, that makes sense. But you know what? Let's try $799 and see what happens. That's not the way to go. It's not. Last year you could have gotten somewhat away with it because rates nobody cared. Everyone was just blowing up everything, buying everything. It's not the case. Everything fell flat. People are back to normal now, right? And maybe even a little bit less because everyone's kind of in shock. But regardless, that's never been a good strategy. You don't. Let's say 709 is like, really, wow, I think 709 is going to be good. Let's try 799. Okay. And listen, at the end of the day, you pick the price. You don't determine it, but you do pick it. So if no matter how much begging, screaming, kicking, stomping, crying I do, if you say $799, yes sir, $799, I'm still going to do everything that I can to market it, right? I'm going to do my whole suite of stuff. But if the value's not there because the similar properties they sold for and are, let's even say, currently on the market for 689, 709, 659, 729, but that one's overpriced, so they're sitting a little bit. Where is 799 coming into play? So what happens? The house sits. There's no interest. There's no showings. There's nothing. A week goes by. A month goes by. 3 months go by. Now we're on the market for 100 days. That's a problem, right? So now maybe we will get someone to look at it 4 months into it. But what's the first thing they're thinking when they come through your door? So this thing's on the market for 4 months. There's gotta be something wrong, or this or that. What are they gonna do? Let's say we're listed at 709. They're gonna offer you 650, 640, right? Because it's a lowball offer. The house is on the market for 4 months. Houses are not supposed to be on the market for 4 months. So we end up far lower than where we should have been in the beginning. Now, what happens when you price it correctly? Let's say 709 is looking like that sweet spot. We go 709, first weekend hits. We got 20, 30, 40 showings. Everyone's in there, realtors, buyers, everyone's scooping this thing up. They want to buy. What are they seeing? They're seeing all the other realtors and buyers and everyone in there. Now what? Oh man, Mr. Realtor, what do you think? I was gonna offer asking, but there's so much competition. Yeah, 709 is asking. Let's try 720. Let's try to really seal the deal. 730. You're getting more, right? You're never getting the 799 that it's nowhere near worth, but you're getting more than where it was for the most part. Of course, this is all typical. Nobody has a crystal ball, but you have to price it correctly, or you end up in scenario number one, where now it's 4 or 5 months down the line, no interest. I'm the guy at fault, right? I'm not. You don't think I'm doing enough, and this and that. You can't overprice your house and expect anything to happen. It's not like selling a car on Craigslist. You know what I mean? You're selling $1 million asset. So we have to price it properly, and we got to be smart about it. So let's get your house priced properly. Let's list it. Let's get it sold. I'll drink a couple, 2 treat of that. Cheers.